All right, folks. Do real-time air practice. Okay. So a lot of the air elementals are air signs. Okay. I think plenty of athletes could be air signs. People who do like skydiving, pilots. And then people who talk to the wind and can listen to the wind. And we've gotten hints of that in movies. And obviously we have movies like the Airbenders, the Avatars, and I'm talking about like the cartoon Avatar and not the, well, that Avatar too, because they basically put themselves in bodies. So we got two things going on here. We got smoke, which you can kind of see like nestled, kind of spread out between the mountains there. And then we have the trails, which, you know, fact checkers will say are not blah, 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 but we know they are blah, blah, blah. So to me, the trails is like worse than the smoke. So with the trails, there's two things. There's kind of cloud air beings called sylphs that can be called in to kind of eat these clouds. So we'll put that out there. But also what I do is some typical like hand movements. Just get those out of here. Get those out of here. Out of here. Out of here. And then for both, raise it up, push it out. This is specifically for this one. Raise it up, push it out. Raise it up, push it out. Talking to Great Mother. Here comes a little bit of air. And so it is. Usually it takes about, I don't know, just depends. What's she saying? She's saying, well, you can see kind of the smoke creeping in over there. So, for the trail, she's saying about 15, 20 minutes. So I'll check back in about 15, 20 minutes. And then for the smoke, she said about a day. About a day. Hopefully we'll be able to stave off any heavy smoke. Many will say the air is patriarchal. Many will say the air is wicked. It's not air that's wicked. It's the intentions behind some of the magic that certain elites and powers, quote unquote, that have had control for, or the knowledge is a better way to actually say it, for many years, had the teachings. But there's things that come through in remembrance that were hidden and now are being readdressed to certain beings, specifically like elementals. Air is air is life. So there's benevolence in air. And yes, you can send messages, then we have birds, and the messenger is a winged theory, right? A winged, it is carried through air. It's carried through ether as well. So this is where, eventually we'll bring all the elements together. And in that aspect, all the elements together become ether. And then that's what we are. Like, we are etheric beings, right? And so this is why my theory is the remembrance of the elementals is, that's what all of this has been about. All the things like energy work, and those could be fire elementals, people who understand their fire and air elemental. And also ether is thought, right? Because how do you explain, like, when you think of somebody and they call you, or they've been thinking of you and you call them? That's ether. That's an element that will also be harnessed, because, okay, if things go away a certain way, we have to be prepared for people who are capable of helping to change your mind. And we also need to be able to help possibly change somebody else's mind. Like, if it's a slew of military, you would be able to influence their thoughts for safety, for protection. Back to the Great Mother. Ground them, root them, and with air, be able to create a storm so that you can be hidden. Because these are the elementals that have been being used against us. Ether is where thought transformations go through the quote unquote airwaves, right? That's a manipulation. Nature itself is a beingness. It's not, it doesn't think to itself, I'm going to do this to manipulate the people. That's something else. And so all these things are elements. The cell phone, the cellular phone, and then even when it comes to certain practices, the knowledge that if you repeat something enough times, it becomes, I could stop there. It becomes. This is why we say, like, do mantras, repeat certain, well, some of that's clearing up, or it's spreading out. And I'm just one person, right? So if just to kind of come back to the power of the elementals, if you have 15 airbenders, that would be cleared already. Or even 3 airbenders, it would speed it up. 2 airbenders. But the point is just to show you, like, what one person can do with the intention and the connection to the elements. And then, what many could do, what many are possible of doing. But that's what this is about. To lead up to, like, this is where I talk about the 9-day calendars, talk about word magic, talk about the symbols, because it's all connected to the elements, and understanding how that's what we did. We harnessed our elements. My theory is this is how the actual pyramids were built, how we flew, how we traveled, how we even did, like, portal jumping. Well, one seems clearer. The smoke is kind of staying over the mountaintop, which you guys can't really see, but it's pushing west. How do we stop that? Who's going to tell the truth about those? And how do we stop that? Like, this is how airbenders, waterbenders, earth benders, you know, earth elementals, water elementals, all of that. That's how, because the powers that be, they're not going to be like, oh, you guys, you're right. We've been poisoning you through the skies. We're going to stop doing that now. Obviously, because this has been going on for years and people have been pointing it out and they still want to keep gaslighting us and telling us it's something else. Meanwhile, not addressing it at all, right? But letting us know that they have weather changing stuff and lasers and come on. It's like, how do we stop that? You know, that's us. That's all us. We're the lasers. We're the beams. We're capable of doing this kind of stuff. And this is the remembrance. Well, so it's been about 10 minutes since I started the video. Let's see. I'll have to replay it to see. So I don't see any sills. I actually see another line in the sky. Maybe what's happening is it's going into the cloud, going into the smoke clouds. It looks a little clearer over here, but I'm not too pleased about what's going on over there. It kind of looks like a sylph, but sometimes they mirror the sylphs. So say about 10 more minutes. I feel like it's going to be a little longer. We'll see what happens. But the key is to keep practicing regardless. Keep practicing, because I think that's next, y'all. I mean, I could be way off. I know it sounds, you know, fantastical. But that would be a good answer as to why all the stuff. So, and we can do it. We've done it. We know we can. We know we have power over the weather. We can talk to animals, to the planet, to trees. You know what I mean? Like, we know this stuff. So let's try it out. Let's see if that is the case. Why not? And then see what we manifest. Because I think that's what they've been doing to us anyways. So it's time to take the magic back and the practices back. And we'll see what happens. All right. I'll be back in a bit.